E voltamos agora.
Takahito? Yeah, I've heard of the guy. Word is he did something monumentally stupid, then ran off before they could catch him. And to be completely honest, I was a little surprised when I first heard it. Okay, well, I mean, not that surprised.
Wait, you mean he already had a bad reputation?
No, not exactly. He's just very overbearing in everything he does. Big, so on the one hand, he's a larger-than-life kind of guy. But on the other hand, he's emotionally volatile. When he's in a good mood, he's as high as a kite. But when he gets upset, he gets completely enraged. I don't personally see him as a bad guy, but I guess I wouldn't put it past him to get all riled up and lose control.
Geralmente ele faz, ele tem algum tipo de trabalho.
I'm afraid that I'm not too sure myself. I keep a pretty good eye on what's happening in the city, and as far as I can tell, he just idles the days away. When someone asks for it, he's willing to lend a helping hand, but other than that, he's just out making a scene with the kids on the street or his gang. If I had to guess, his lack of income finally drove him to do something more drastic to make ends meet.
Is it just Paimon, or is this Ito fellow starting to sound pretty weird?
I'm afraid that I don't have much else to tell you. He tends to spend his time with people a little more lively than myself.
Mais animadas do que eu.
Perhaps you could try asking around some more.
Vou fazer isso. Oh, recapitulando. O PC morreu, mas agora que volta, vamos voltar no palco, eu espero. Minha placa mãe no meu. Opa! Placa mãe no computador. Eles queimaram. Eu levei ao conserto, estou esperando mais, aí tive dinheiro. Mas estamos de volta. Tem live continua. Vídeos também, né? Vão sair normalmente. Estamos. Ué. Tem tiazinha ali. Pô, tô tudo estranho, tá? Muito tempo sem jogar.
Takahito? Oh yeah, I heard about that whole thing. I'm sure it must have been a mix-up on the Tenryou Commission's end. He could never do anything so dastardly.
Huh? How can you be so sure? Is he really as trustworthy as all that?
No, perhaps you misunderstand me. When I said he could never do anything dastardly, I meant he literally doesn't have what it takes. Maybe a story will explain it better. So, he used to spend a lot of time playing rock, paper, scissors and hide and seek with the kids on the streets. Kids, being kids, aren't exactly the most difficult to outsmart. I'm sure you can see what I'm getting at here. He used to lose all the time, sometimes catastrophically.
On purpose, though, right?
No, not at all. The one time I saw him win, he started jumping around and yelling, "I won! I finally won! I'm unbeatable!" And so on. Then he took the kid's candy as his prize and ate it right there in front of him.
That's just plain wrong.
He did take it way too far that time. The poor kid started crying, so I stepped in and gave Ito a scolding. He was pretty quick to admit that he was fully in the wrong, and it wasn't long before the kid had stopped crying and was laughing and playing again as if nothing had ever happened. In fact, the children quite like playing with him because he's always serious about the stakes and never throws a game on purpose. So, I suppose what I'm trying to say is a guy who can't even beat kids at a children's game really gonna be capable of these kinds of diabolical deeds?
Acho que agora entendo o seu ponto de vista. Não era nada disso que eu esperava ouvir.
Huh. He doesn't sound like a bad guy at all. In fact, he kind of sounds sounds like a man of integrity.
Parece que ele é um íntegro.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. Still, the Tenryou Commission's evidence against him is supposed to be irrefutable. So, I'm not trying to condone his actions or anything. If he really has messed up big time, then he should face the consequences just like anyone else.
Tá certo.
Thanks for the info. We'll keep asking around.
Vou continuar perguntando. Cara, eu tô muito perdidinho, mas, ó. Eu não sei se esse aqui. Eu sei que a história do Fonte já apareceu, né? Cadê? É esse aqui, né? Acho que é esse aqui. Esse aqui é o Fonte, eu acredito. Eu não sei, isso aqui eu sei que é a missão lendária, que é a missão da Fonte, ó, que já chegou. Essa missão lendária tem que fazer antes, não sei se eu vou gravar essas missões. A Grande Nuvem, Amizade Literária, acho que eu também não vou gravar. E eu ainda tenho algumas missões que eu deixei aqui, ó, posso fazer. Eu tenho que aumentar meu ranking, só que eu não aumentei ainda. O passado do Cavaleiro dos Penhais, com o foco dos bastidores. Coleção do Dragão Serpente. Tem algumas missões ainda que eu tenho que fazer ainda. Provavelmente eu vou fazer off para adiantar, mas essas daqui talvez eu não grave, talvez eu não sei. E essa aqui é a missão principal, né? Eu vou fazer essa daqui, não sei qual é. Mas isso aqui, agora que eu me liguei, velho. Essa missão dele, eu fui missão lendária. E aqui eu já fiz ela. Eu não sei se eu gravei ela, velho. Essas missões lendárias, nossa, ainda tá no ato 1. Essa missão dele, no Taurus, é essa missão aqui, ó. Provavelmente eu não continue a fazer isso não, vou fazer essa missão e vou logo pra essa, né? Vamos ver o que a galera acha dele aqui, viu?
Arataki Itto. Of course I know him. We've been trying to apprehend him recently. We know he's already left Inazuma City, but with no clues to follow, we have no choice but to commission others for help, including the Adventurers Guild.
Catherine says that Arataki Itto hasn't done anything seriously bad before, so it seems pretty strange. Paimon's curious. Is there any evidence of all this stuff he's accused of?
Yes, of course. Otherwise, we'd never have put so many people on the case. For starters, most thieves will try to devise a way to conceal their identity, but for an Oni, the horns are a dead giveaway. I mean,
você
the
tá
whole city
conhecendo
could
o
have
criminoso só pelos
recognized it was him.
chifres? Porra, aí os caras... Nossa, eu ia falar. Como você sabe que não foi unir, né? Diferente.
At first, he was just one of our suspects, but when we went to investigate, he personally confessed to everything and started trying to provoke the officers. What's most frustrating is that he then managed to escape along with his entire gang. He must have been planning the whole thing
Ele
right
tem
from the
intenção de
start.
fazer algo ruim?
Of course he did. Whether material or psychological, there is plenty of evidence either way.
Que provas é essa?
He's
né?
never had a Mora to his name his entire life, and he's never kept down a real job. Word is that he also takes care of someone in his gang, and that the burden of it takes quite the toll on him. After scrounging for a living all these years, maybe he thought that being the bad guy would be an easier ride. As for his psychological motives, it's a bit embarrassing to talk about, but we confiscated his vision during the Vision
Então por
Hunt
isso que ele tá
Decree.
atrás de vocês, fazendo isso tudo. Então ele estava se vingando da comissão anterior,
At
né?
the time, Arataki
Naquela
Itto
época-
put up quite a fight. It took a huge amount of manpower and resources, and in the end we had to enlist the help of Kujo Sara to finally secure his vision. The vision hunt was a mistake, but we never expected that he would go to such extreme lengths to take revenge on us.
Ué, você caçou ele e você tá querendo que ele não faça algo?
He does sound a little unstable, just like people have been saying.
Pelo menos tem um bom motivo, a evidência é óbvia.
If the two of you are able to capture Arataki Itto, please bring him straight here. We'll handle him from there.
Claro, vou trazer sim. Obrigado pelas informações. Nossa, já que a gente tá aqui, né?
But we still don't know where he could have run off to. We already got word on the street, so maybe it's time to talk to a real specialist.
Tá bom.
Paimon remembers that there's a detective agency here in Inazuma. Maybe we can try asking there.
Vamos falar com a agência, né? Cara, eu não vou ler mais não. Eu vou deixar os diálogos assim, só quando não tiver diálogo eu leio. Vai ser assim de agora em diante. Vambora, velho. E a gente tem que fazer essa missão. Deixa eu ver qual é pra liberar antes de continuar aqui. Aqui é só missão lendária, tá de boa. Eu não me lembro se eu fiz alguma aqui, velho. E eu postei lá. Mas o que eu preciso pra desbloquear essa missão aqui, velho? Ah, tem que fazer esse capítulo para... Ok. Vamos falar com a Segunda.
Hello, we'd like to ask some questions about Arataki Ito.
Oh, him again. Sure. I have answers. We've already done some investigating for the Tenryou Commission. But first,
Mora,
do you
né?
have enough Moro to cover the fee? I've heard all about your travels. After everything you've been through, I'm sure you understand the way these sorts of things work.
Já vi tudo sobre suas viagens. Tá. Pô, perdi a atenção.
How much more are we talking about here?
A one-off payment of 397,000 Mora.
Nossa!
upfront, plus a further 5% of your Adventures Guild remuneration as my commission.
Nem tem
If
esse dinheiro
Arataki
todo,
Ito
né?
is successfully caught and brought to justice.
Whoa, that's crazy expensive! How did you even come up with the price that high?
Hold on. I wasn't finished. It just so happens the initial fee has already been paid in full by the Tenryou Commission.
Ok.
Oh, and as for that amount, I'll settle things with the Adventures Guild once we have Ito. So, from the way I see it, you guys are getting a pretty nice deal.
Tô conseguindo um bom negócio.
Now then, to give you the full picture in this case, we must first recount a well-known Inazuman fairy tale.
Tá, opa. Cutscene? Cutscene?
A long, long time ago, in a village lost to time, there lived a crimson Oni and a blue Oni. They were the best of friends. The crimson Oni looked fierce, but was gentle like the humans. The blue Oni looked human, but was reclusive, like an Oni. The crimson Oni wished to befriend the humans, but they were scared and threw beans at him whenever he came near. So the blue Oni said to the crimson Oni,
Akka, I'll cause trouble in the village. You come and stop me. Then the humans will accept you.
as planned, the crimson Oni chased the blue Oni away. The crimson Oni's deeds spread throughout the land, and people finally accepted him. But when the crimson Oni went to tell the blue Oni the good news, he was gone and left only a letter behind.
I went traveling. Don't come find me or they'll treat you as a naughty little Oni. But don't worry about me. No matter where I go, we'll always be friends.
Nossa, o legalzinho ali.
That's it? What about the little blue Oni? Whatever happened to him?
I suppose the blue Oni simply disappeared, never to be seen again. Only the crimson Oni remain now.
But the blue Oni was just an innocent little kid.
Essa história, né, tem alguma coisa a ver com a situação em questão?
Of course it does. Otherwise, I wouldn't go through all the trouble of telling it. One interpretation is that the story is actually broadly based on historical events and that Arataki Ito is, in fact, a descendant of the Crimson Oni. What I'm trying to tell you is that the Oni have sacrificed a lot in the past in order to finally integrate themselves into human society. But there are still some volatile personality traits in the Oni bloodline. Every generation of Oni inherits these traits. So while Arataki Ito has never been known to commit a wrongful act in the past, can we ever completely rule out the possibility of him one day allowing this side of him to take over?
But how could he do that? After the blue Oni's sacrifice? That would be such a betrayal.
That's a very old story. Nobody knows how long it's been since the Blue Oni disappeared. We can only assume that they have long since died out, in which case, it would be quite a stretch to say it still counts as a betrayal at this point. Besides, the suspect has already confessed. What is there left to discuss? According to my investigation, he was headed southwest. I would bet he's already made it to Yashiori Island by now. The Tenryo Commission is unable to enter territory controlled by Sangonomiya troops. No doubt that's the reason Arataki Ito chose to flee in that direction.
Ah, mas eu posso ir até lá, né? Sou amiga deles. Entendo, agradeço pelas suas informações.
Don't mention it. I'm just doing my duty.
Wait, Paimon still has a question. If Arataki Ito has given in to his bad side, won't that mean he's extra mean and violent now?
I could only assume so. Judging from his previous bouts, he is a skilled fighter with a lot of brute strength. Whether or not you'll be able to handle him, that I do not know.
Okay, but what's up with people throwing beans at Oni? What use is that?
Ah, yes. Now that you mention it, I seem to recall that Arataki Ito is allergic to beans. In fact, all Oni will avoid beans, but especially Ito. I heard that just touching a bean is enough to incapacitate him.
Bom saber.
If you could weaken him a bit by triggering his allergies, perhaps you'd have better luck subduing him.
Parece que é nossa única opção. Parece pouco injusto.
Right! Knowing our target's weakness will make things a whole lot easier.
It just so happens that I have a bag of beans right here. I was planning to use them to make some porridge, but I think you will find a better use for them. Of course, I will charge the Adventurers Guild a fair and reasonable rate for the beans.
Sei.
Sneaky! But also, thanks!
Danada.
Let's head to Yashiori Island and start looking for Ito!
Vamos encontrá-lo, vamos. Boa, me deu feijão, tudo certo. Já vou falar, mas a gente vai no próximo, né? A gente vai continuar essa missão aí, depois a gente vai pra história principal, né? Quando o vídeo não ficar muito grande, a gente vai continuar a história principal dos Arcontes. Deixa eu ver aqui só uma coisa bem rápida. Isso aqui é só... É só pra receber, não é história não. Com 4 missões. Entre uma vez no bule de chá. Upar a expedição. Derrote qualquer lixo, tá? Use todas sem insígnias. Tá bom, isso aqui dá pra conseguir. Cozinha 10 pratos. Isso aqui é fácil. Tá, tem que fazer isso hoje. Eu vou fazer. Isso aqui é só pra dropar mais coisas. Ah, então não é história não. Tem que testar esse personagem, depois do teste. Essa fabricação aqui. Rumo ao mercado de brinquedos. Tem quantos dias pra acabar? A gente vai fazer isso aqui, o rumo ao mercado de brinquedos. Nos vemos por aí, né? Obrigado mesmo que acompanhou. E eu estou de volta. Valeu.